gives me great pleasure to welcome and introduce to you our new Chief Executive, Andrew Cornish. Applause, I think is required for that. It will not. So, Andrew, thank you for joining us this morning. Tell us a little bit about the journey that has brought you here to Somerset County Cricket Club.
Okay, well thanks Ben. So first of all, good morning to everyone. I have met one or two of you, and I really look forward to meeting many of you over the coming days and weeks once the sun comes out and we get some cricket underway. My journey here has been through a number of different careers, but one thing that has been consistent for the last 20 years is I've said a dream for me has been to come and run a cricket club. And you know, what better cricket club to come and run than this cricket club here, which, and of course I would be saying this, but I really mean this, the best county setup that I think there is in the country with the best potential opportunity for the coming season and seasons. So this has been the journey, this is what I want to do. I hope I can bring a lot to the club to help these three guys and their colleagues bring success on the pitch, because that's at the end of the day what we're all about. And I hope that some of my experiences from my business background and involved in customer experience, building infrastructure, will help support a fantastic off-the-field experience, which will lead to a really strong on-the-field experience, which is, at the end of the day, the #1 priority for us here.
And what are your first impressions of the club?
First impressions are incredibly professional, incredibly passionate. I was up here during the Ireland game meeting some of the stalwart members of our club, and they weren't backward in coming forward and giving me their views on what we should be doing, which is great, because that passion is something that the Somerset County Cricket Club is renowned for, and something that we need to encourage, and it feeds to the guys out on the pitch and to success. And then the third thing that's come through is that desire to win. Everything I've heard in the 1 week and 1 day that I've been here has been about winning trophies, winning silverware, and a real strong belief that that is going to happen.
Is that positive mentality the thing that's impressed you most in that week and a day?
Absolutely. I haven't had one moment when I haven't been impressed. Andy's been saying to me, we're going to wipe that smile off your face one day. But right now, the professionalism, the desire to win and the passion are just in everything you touch in this club right now.
What are your main goals? What do you hope to achieve in your tenure in the role?
Well, it's not what I want to achieve, it's actually what the club's going to achieve. And you know, what I want for the club to achieve will be success for me. And what I want the club to achieve is winning silverware. And winning silverware consistently, so we create a pathway for players coming through from the younger age groups all the way through to the senior squad, and that we can have sustainable success for the years to come. There are some other challenges that I'll have to deal with the chairman and the committee and with Andy here around the future of cricket, the future of county cricket, championship cricket, the whole T20 situation, and those will be some challenging times, but we'll work those through. We'll make sure that Somerset County Cricket Club has a seat at the table, and that our voice is not just heard but is respected within that group.
So big, as you say, a big and important time for the club itself, but also the ground and the venue with floodlights on the horizon, and of course the World Cup in 2019.
Those are two big things for next season for us. Yes, the floodlights, which will come at the end of this season, will provide a new dimension. We have got some other plans for infrastructure investments. The 3 World Cup games that we'll have here, potentially 1 or more warm-up games, are great for the ground, but they also bring challenges to Andy and to his team, because you know, at the end of the day, Somerset County Cricket Club still has to perform in 2019, and I come back to, you know, that sustainable pathway of success. So whilst having the World Cup games here is fantastic for the county ground here, for the Coopers Associate County ground, it will bring some challenges to the cricket side of life here, but we'll get through those.
Are you keen to hear what the members have got to say?
I've already heard plenty from some of the members, and I'm keen to hear a lot more, and I really am committed to that. I think one of the things that I will bring to this is that desire to hear everyone's inputs. Like a good family, won't all agree all of the time, but everyone will get their chance to give their views. I will listen to their views, take them on board, and as I say, as we move forward in interesting times for cricket, we do need to have a cohesive coherent view on where we see as Somerset County Cricket Club the future of cricket going. As I say, I'll make sure that together with the chairman of the committee and Andy that our voices both heard and respected within the ECB and the ICC.
For the time being, Andrew, thank you very much indeed. Moving on to Director of Cricket Andy Hurry. Obviously we've had a lovely British winter weather-wise. As you can see, it's always slightly rude. I think when the ducks are paddling on the puddles left standing on the outfield. Obviously it has hampered pre-season preparation. I guess that just goes to show how important it was that we erected that marquee.
I think a lot of credit's got to go to Lee and Jason, who made a decision at the end of last season that we needed to invest in a marquee moving forward. And what it's allowed us to do is ensure that the players can transition from the indoor school onto a surface that's more realistic to the early season challenges that they're going to face. And then from our bowlers' perspective, they've got the ability to run in off their full runs. They've also got the opportunity for their bodies to develop to the challenges of running on soft ground and adapt to those challenges. And for our batters as well, against pace and spin, the ability, where appropriate and appropriately challenged, to combat those challenges against the ball. And there's no doubt in my mind that we didn't have the marquee from the 19th of February, then we really would have struggled to make that transition out of the grass with the adverse weather that we've had over the last few months or so. And I think we made a really wise decision to extend the amount of time we had the marquee running through for an additional 10 days. And I think without that marquee being extended, you know, you could count the number of times we'd have actually practiced on grass on one hand. And, you know, if you really knuckle down, it'd probably be 3 or 4 times that actually we've only had the opportunity to practice. So it's been a great investment. And the players have really enjoyed it. We've had really good feedback from the players and staff, and I think it's something we'll continue to invest in moving forward.
We have had a bit of cricket. Have you been happy with what you have seen?
It's been frustrating with the weather and the fact that I think we were supposed to have 12 days worth of cricket during our pre-season preparations ahead of the first county championship games. I think we've had a maximum of 4 days. You know, we had aggressively planned to have 2 T20 games, then a 50-over game, and then a 2-day game, and then a 3-day game, and then the 4-day game against Ireland. And the reality is that a lot of those opportunities have been taken away from us. But what I've been really impressed with is the attitude of the staff and the players. And I think it's a great reflection of where the club is at the moment. So it hasn't derailed them at all. And when opportunities have presented during the 1 day against Worcester and the 3 days against Ireland, that the players have demonstrated where I would expect them to be at this stage of the season. You know, batters are spending time in the middle, they're developing substantial partnerships. You know, we're getting the ball in awkward areas, and we're consistent at doing that. So I'm really, really pleased, and it's been a great opportunity for myself, the players, and also the coaching staff to observe players within some competitive opportunities. And the fundamental difference between practicing and actually playing is the pressure that's associated and some of the challenges and demands around playing competitive cricket. And you can actually see players have a different mindset when they get those opportunities to compete in pre-season.
You mentioned lots of runs, lots of partnerships for the batsmen, so you've got to be pretty happy with how they've gone on. Are you happy with the amount of miles that the bowlers have got in their legs?
Again, ideally, I think we would like to have had more miles and time on their feet for our bowlers. But again, we go back to the marquee again. That's where that's been such a key investment for us. Bowlers had time on their feet, running on grass, allowing their bodies to adapt. And I think we're in the same position that every other county is in this country, is that we would all like to have played more cricket. We'd all like to have our bowlers have more overs under their belt. But that's the reality of where everybody is. And the evidence that I've observed during the 4 days cricket, 1 day against Worcester and 3 days against Ireland, is that our bowlers are in a good place. And we can only manage what we can manage. We can only control what we can control, and we've controlled that really, really well. And I alluded to it before, that the attitude and the approach that everyone's demonstrated so far just really reflect exactly where we are, so I'm really pleased.
And just finally, do you have an update for these ladies and gentlemen regarding the potential of an overseas signing?
I recognise how much invested interest there is regarding the overseas situation. I think no one could expect, you know, the curveball we were dealt just a few weeks ago. At this stage, I have no updates for you, but you can rest assured as soon as I do, that I will share that with everybody imminently.
Thank you very much indeed. Moving on to club captain Tom Abel, who'll be skippering the side in the Specsavers County Championship and the Royal London One Day Cup. How's pre-season gone for yourself, and how do you think it's gone for the team?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like Sarge says, certain parts of pre-season have been out of our control. But in terms of sort of our skills and I think where we're at as a team, I think, signs are very positive. In the limited sort of opportunities that we've had as a side, I think a number of batters, or most of the batters really, have had some decent time in the middle, and equally sort of going on the island game, I think, I'm very encouraged by what I saw from our bowling unit as well. So I think, looking ahead, there's going to be some real tough selection dilemmas, but that's what we want.
Tell us a little bit about the India trip. Obviously, I think you've been fortunate enough to get slightly more cricket under your belt than a lot of guys over the winter. You went to India with academy lads, is that right?
I did, yeah. I was very lucky to be given the opportunity to go away with the academy for 10 days. Spent 10 days working in Mumbai, which was a great sort of experience and opportunity. We were able to work with some Indian coaches out there, and they offered a very fresh sort of perspective, especially when it came to playing spin. And I think, India's like nowhere else in the world. You have the chance to bat for sort of 5 hours a day, which I guess in terms of practice is fantastic. And then it was great, yeah, sort of as soon as I got back really, we were able to get outside in the marquee and, test your skills against bowlers in English conditions.
You must have been delighted as well with, as Andy Hurry has already mentioned, we can't control the weather, but we can control the cricket that we have played, and you must have been delighted with the performance over the weekend against international opposition.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, if you look at the Ireland side, they've played a lot of international cricket between them, and obviously a few of them played sort of a fair bit of domestic cricket as well. So in terms of how we went about things and the performances, I was really happy with. I think, especially with the ball, because we haven't had too much opportunity for our bowlers, we put them under a lot of pressure and asked really good questions, which is something, that I think we've carried on from last year. So as I say, yeah, signs are very positive, and fingers crossed we can get back out there against Oxford next weekend.
It's your second year as club captain. Are you going to be approaching things in the same way that you did last year, or have you learnt last year that certain things need to be approached differently?
Absolutely. I mean, I think last year was a huge learning curve for myself. I think, the lads are very patient with me. But no, they're great guys. They helped me a lot last year, and as I say, sort of I learned a huge amount. And so I'll be hoping to implement that this year. And as I say, I think I've got great people around me. There's some fantastic people at the club, and also we've got a team that really cares about Somerset County Cricket Club. So I think that can only be a good thing.
There seems to be a real buzz about the place at the moment. We've seen that throughout pre-season, and it's still going now despite frustration with the weather. What realistically do you think that this set of players can achieve? Not necessarily this year, but in the years to come.
I think there is a great feeling around the place, but I think this time of year, that's often the case. So the challenge for us really is, making sure that we're ready to deliver our skills on the 20th of April, because obviously that's where it counts. We're going into the season obviously with our bar set very high. We'll be going into every game looking to win every game, that's for sure. But I mean, we'll try not to get too far ahead of ourselves, and as I say, sort of for us, it's all about that first game against Worcestershire and making sure we're ready.
Moving on to Lewis now. Obviously T20 captain for this season, the captain of the Vitality Blast. Some big names in the history of the club have led the team out. How much of an honour is it for you to have your name on that list now?
Yeah, it's a huge honour and a really exciting challenge. You walk into the players' dining room and you've got the list of the great names that have captained this club, and it's a massive honour and a really big achievement. And with that, hopefully we can win some games and bring some silverware back.
How would you describe your captaincy style?
I don't know, we'll find out pretty soon, I think. As a cricketer, I like to be really positive, so I'm going to try and bring nature to what I do. We've got a great bunch of lads that with a lot of experience that I'll be trying to draw some help from. But it's to go out there, be positive, play some really aggressive, competitive cricket, and hopefully we'll come out on the right side of it.
With the split captaincy again this year, are you two going to be working together or communicating a lot with regards to how you're going to be doing things, or are you just going to tell Tom to shut up and you'll get on with it?
I was going to say, when I'm bowling, it'll be telling Tom to shut up most of the time. No, me and Tommy got a really good relationship where I'll be looking to give him advice and he'll be doing the same thing. So, and that's not just me and Tommy. We've got a really strong, experienced leadership group within the squad that you can draw a lot of information from and help you. This is Tommy's second year being a captain, and this is my first year. So we're not the most experienced in terms of captaincy, but there's a lot of experience in the group that we can draw from and look to help us, because it's hard work. So yeah, we've got a really good relationship, and we'll look to help each other out as much as possible.
Obviously, your season was hampered last year by injury. How's the rehab gone, and are you fit and raring to go?
Yeah, the body feels really good. Like it's been alluded to earlier, I would have probably liked to have bowled a little bit more than I have. Obviously, the lads in the tent, I was doing a lot of back to bowling stuff in the tent, so I've not quite bowled as much as I would have liked to have done. But yeah, when I have bowled, the body's felt really good, and that's a really positive thing. And hopefully, moving forward throughout the season, it will continue to stay that way. But yeah, right now I feel in a really good place, and hopefully it's only going in one direction.
How excited are you about the current crop of young players that are coming through the ranks? I don't want to name any names, but we saw, in the Somerset versus Somerset game, some of the younger lads getting runs and taking wickets. It really is an exciting time, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. We've got like I've said earlier, we've got a really talented bunch, and that's senior players and younger players. We've I don't know, Sarge will probably know, but we've had four players in the England under-19s this winter. And that's really exciting. And those guys, the challenges for those guys is to come and put pressure on the senior players that are playing. There's going to be a lot of second team cricket where if they go and score runs, they're going to get an opportunity. And it is exciting, and you need that to have that pressure for places and that competitiveness within the squad, and hopefully that's only going to drive standards forward, and that way you're going to win more games than you lose.
So that's Gregory, thank you very much indeed. Opening it up to the floor, if you do have any questions, if you could just say who your question is for and what organisation you're asking it for, it'd be fantastic. Do we have any questions?
Richard Oliver, 10 Radio. Andy, how fit is Jamie Overton? Is he back to normal?
What is normal?
Well, okay. Is he back to full fitness?
Well, you had the opportunity to observe him during the game. Regrettably, we didn't get the opportunity to take the field for a second time because of the weather. But everything is moving in the right direction, and we're confident that he could put himself forward for consideration for selection for the first championship match. So the answer to the question in black and white is that he's ready to go.
Great, thank you.
Daniel Evans, Somerset Live. Question for Andy. After sort of a number of years of challenging at the top of the county championship, obviously last year you guys were not where you would have wanted to be. What's the aim for this year in terms of the county championship?
To win it.
Win it.
If you want some more on that, I can definitely give you some.
Do you feel a grip to win it? And why?
100%. I'm not a fool. One of the reasons I came back here is because I really do truly believe that within that changing room, you've got a great combination of experienced players that are now making their way into the England senior team, aspirational players that are not very far away from making their England debuts. We've got young players coming through our system, and the future, long term, is looking very, very bright. And the decision was easy for me to come back here because I truly believe not only we can compete to win the championship, but we can compete across all three formats.
Is there anything, coming back, is there anything that you saw last year that you felt needed addressing over the pre-season in terms of improvement for this year? Anything in particular?
So that's a really interesting question. The way I looked at it when I came back was I looked at the last 4 games. I looked at the way the team got behind the captain. I looked at the performances they put in the field. And I think what's really important is that we harness that approach, that attitude, those skills, that determination, that resilience, and we look to start with that. And that's something we've been building on since we've all got back together in midway through the winter. So I think it's a really, really exciting time, and I think it's really, really important that we don't get too far ahead of ourselves. You know, you don't win any competitions until the middle of the summer or the end of the summer. It's important that actually we focus on being in the here and now. It's important that we focus on the first session and the first championship game. We focus on the first hour. We focus on the next ball. And that's the simple way of approaching it. Let's take care of the things we can control right here and right now. And the rest of it will just take care of itself. But to go back to your point, there really is an unbelievable amount of belief in that changing room amongst the staff and the players. There's a great group in there. They work diligently, both on and off the field, and they give themselves the best possible chance. We've got to wait until the 20th for our first opportunity to compete, and we've got some time between now and then, and it's important that we're doing everything we possibly can to make sure when that first ball comes down, whether we're facing it or whether we're delivering it, that we're ready to go.
PJ and 10 Radio. Question for Lewis and Tom. Really, Lewis. It's your first year captain. How nervous are you?
Right now, I'm not too bad. I've got a bit of time before I'm going to be leading the lads out. So currently, I feel fine. I'm sure the nerves will be there before the first game out there. It's only natural. I think there'll be nerves here before the next game next week. I think that's a natural part of it until you sort of get into the running of the season and into each individual competition. So there will be nerves there, 100%, and it's how you deal with that and overcome that. We've got a great group of guys that will be around and support both of us. So I don't see that being an issue at all.
No, because you both, I get the impression, I don't know, but I get the impression that you're very close, so you'll probably work off each other as well. Because this is your second year, so you know what is involved. Can you help Lewis in that respect, or has Lewis got to learn himself and make his own mistakes?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, that's inevitable a little bit as a young captain, you know. So I don't think you can never fully prepare yourself for obviously what you're going to come across in the summer, but yeah, I like to think we're pretty good mates, myself and Lewis. But you know, Lewis is sort of mature beyond his years. You know, he's played a lot of cricket, and you know, I think he'll be a fantastic captain for the club. And I can tell you now, he's definitely someone that the boys will be getting behind.